Okay, classes in session. Today we are going to talk about revision. I love revision and I've been using revision in a few ways that I'm going to discuss, and I'm actually going to share with you a SP story that I revised. So let's get into this video. Hi guys, my name is Autumn and I'm here to teach you how to assume the position of who it is that you want to be, because remember, you are the only thinker. Coaching, phone and email sessions, and all goodies are down in the description box below. Also, don't forget to go over to my site and check out my free downloads. I have a lot of those over there for you guys. So today we're going to talk about revision, and I've actually been wanting to talk about revision for quite some time, but I just never got around to it. But today we're going to do it. So revision itself, I know that you've heard about revision. Everybody's heard about revision, and I really want to talk about revision because a lot of people think that revision is about just changing the past, and revision is not about changing the past, you guys. It is about choosing a new story, a preferred story, because as we know, creation is finished and all realities exist. So yes, you are revising a situation in order to have a different outcome. So you're choosing a different story, but you're not changing the past, because that whatever situation that you are revising still exists on another plane. You are just shifting yourself to a new reality. So it's not that you're changing anything, you are changing you. And so therefore your situation gets the outcome that you want. All right. So that's the basis of revision. It's not necessarily that you are going back in time to change a certain situation because it's already played out, but what you are thinking from now on, from where you have revised, you will get a different outcome, whether it's with your SP, whether it's with whatever. So it really is about you changing your perspective on what happened on the situation. So you guys, I really want to talk about a SP story, a revision story. And it's so funny because a lot of my success stories, my really good ones, they come from when I had no idea that I was doing it, no idea that I was manifesting, no idea that I was revising anything. And this one is actually pretty funny. So I was talking to this one guy. It was pretty early on in our relationship. We weren't even together at that time yet. We were still talking, but you guys know I was like already thinking that we were together. This is before I got myself fully together when it came to dating. But it kind of was like we were talking, but at the same time we were progressing as far as like getting into a relationship. So we had been seeing each other for quite some time, and his birthday came up. Now I was visiting and I was hanging out with one of my friends, my best friend. And so we had a whole week planned together, but his birthday was during the time that I was coming to hang out with my friend. So he invited both of us to his birthday party, and they knew each other. So I met through them. So they knew each other, and that's how we met. So yeah, you guys, we were going to his birthday party, right? And remember, we were still kind of fresh, about a month and a half into talking. So we have been spending a lot of time together. So we went to his birthday party, and it was at his family member's house. And it was a good time. Everything was going good. We were, I wasn't trying to like crowd his space or anything like that, but everybody kind of knew that we was, seeing each other, right? So lo and behold, his ex walks through the door. We were having a cookout in the backyard. We were playing games and doing all this stuff. And we were playing like this little drinking game. And then I noticed this girl comes in, and like he looks at me and everybody kind of gets like silent. You know what I mean? They got a little silent, but I was like, who is this person? Like everybody's getting all kind of silent and then looking at me. And so I didn't say anything, but come to find out that that was his ex. And then his cousin ended up telling me like, okay, like that's the ex or whatever. And so at first I didn't think nothing of it, because I was like, okay, well maybe she's just coming by to say, happy birthday and whatnot. But it kind of triggered me. Like I said, this was before I got myself all the way together. When it came to dating, I was still in my 20s. I was, but yeah, so she came in, and the one thing that triggered me was because she was going up to him and hugging all on him like they was still together. So I was like, triggered, right? Triggered, right? And so my whole thing was I was planning to spend the whole day with him, the whole night at his birthday party, because it was supposed to go into the night, and we were supposed to spend time together afterward. But my friend, one of her friends, had a going away party, and she got invited, and she had already asked me, but I told her, I was like, you know, I'm gonna spend time with so and so. So she didn't say anything. But the way that I acted after I saw the ex, I just could not compose myself, you guys. I was just like, I don't know. I just kind of like got a little standoffish. And even when he came up to like, you know, come check on me or whatever, I was just kind of a little standoffish because I didn't like the way that she basically hugged him. Like they was still talking. It just gave that they was still in communication. You know what I mean? So it was funny because we weren't even together, but in my mind, we were together. So I told my friend, I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to go to your friend's going away party, right? So we ended up like saying goodbye and whatnot, and he was looking all like, well, what's going on? Like, what's going on? And I was just like, oh no, I'm just gonna go with her to her friend's going away party or whatever. And he was kind of like, you know, he kind of felt the way about it, but I was just like, whatever. And so I went. And we went to the party, and the whole time, you guys, I could not stop thinking about like, why did I do that? I was so mad as soon as I got in the car, but I had to follow through because I was like, I'm gonna follow through because I already said that I was gonna do this. And so I just had to I felt like I had to prove a point, right? So we go to the party, y'all, I'm sitting down the whole time. I'm not dancing, I'm not doing nothing because all I could think about was my actions. Like, why would I act like that? Like, that's the ex, of course, but he still came to check on you, girl. What do you mean? Like, I would just felt so bad, and all I could think about was, I wish that I did not do that. 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 And all I could think about, because my friend was like, well, what's going on? What's going on? Like, we're dancing. Come on. Y'all, I was sitting there. I was so like, man, I shouldn't have done that on his birthday, right? So yeah, you guys. And it's crazy because I spent the rest of the week with my friend because we were out of town, and I had went home for some time. So I really didn't talk to him as much. We might have texted here or there, but all I could think about was how I wanted things to go. And I would tell myself very often, I'm like, man, I was like, I wish that I would have stayed the full time and I would have spent his birthday with him and that everything would have been good. Like, I wish I would have just stayed. That was my assumption. And I was like, that's what I wanted to do. And so that's all I thought about was, I just wish that I would have stayed with him. So it was about like a month and a half later when I came back, and we talked here or there, but I didn't really make it a big deal. I just kind of was like, you know what, we're in the talking stage, no matter what, it's cool. Like, I just kind of let it go, right? And so when I came back and he asked to take me out, and I was like, okay, well, maybe he still wants to see what's going on. I didn't say anything, and I was not going to bring up what happened at the birthday just because I felt so like bad, but at the same time, I did want to apologize. And so I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how to say it because at that time I was so prideful, I could not admit that I was wrong. But we ended up hanging out, and I said, I was like, you know what? Like, I actually want to apologize to you for like leaving on your birthday. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I left on your birthday. Like, I'm sorry that I left. I'm sorry that my attitude was a little off. And he was like, well, you left when the party was over. And I'm like, I just got quiet because I didn't know what to say. And I'm like, and he was like, yeah. He was like, remember, we had a good time that night. He said, we drank, we smoked, we had a good time, we chilled afterwards. And I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, I said, well, and then I told him, I was like, well, I felt like my energy was kind of off. So I'm sorry that if my energy was off. But he was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, I got back all the pictures. And so he had pictures, you guys, of me being there late at night. He had pictures of the whole thing. He had video footage, but I was literally at the party with my friend. So I'm like, how could I have been there? So it's crazy that I had revised that whole situation, because all I could think about was, I really hate the fact that I left, and I just wish that I had spent time with him. But in the reality, I did. Even though I didn't, But in my memory, I wanted so badly to be there with him that I had revised the whole situation unknowingly. And he was like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, you were here. We spent time together. Do you remember? And I was like, oh yeah. I just thought my energy was a little off after I left. So I just wanted to apologize for that. But you guys, I had revised the whole situation. Like, that's crazy. Camera died, but yeah, you guys, he was like, yeah, you left to take your friend home, but then you came back. Don't you remember? And I was so shocked, you guys. And I was thinking, well, maybe it's the drinks we're having tonight at dinner or whatever. But I was just so shocked, you guys. And that was before I even heard of revision. And it just, the way it happened, I couldn't believe it. But it wasn't until I learned revision, I was like, oh, I really revised that whole situation. Just to actually see the pictures and the video footage. And I'm like, I don't remember doing any of that. And I had pictures of me being at the party with my friend. So I'm like, I know there was no way like that I was really there. But in another reality, I was there. And so I just jumped to the reality where I got the outcome that I wanted, even though I know that I didn't experience it, but another version of me did. So you guys, that's the whole point of revision, is to revise a thing to go in the way that you want. Although a situation may have played out with your grades, you got a bad grade or whatever, you could actually revise that and get the outcome that you want. Or you felt that you did bad on your test or whatever, and you could just revise that you passed with whatever grade you want. Or a SP situation like this, or a money situation. I revised a lot of money situations to where bills were paid. Like, bills were paid, I didn't have any money, but I was like, I just know that's paid. I swiped the card anyway, or I put my account number in anyway, even though I know I didn't have the money, and somehow that bill got paid. So I know that revision works, you guys. And it's not something that you have to harp on. You could just think about how you wanted things to go and then live from that end, you guys. Live from that end, because that's what I did. I just lived from the end of like, okay, well, we spent time together. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want. I was just like, that's what I want. I wanted us to spend time together. And as much as I let it go, and I think the time where I didn't reach out and I kind of let things be, it kind of played a factor into it. Because if I was still reaching out to him and still trying to go forward from there, I felt like it would have still been the same reality. But the fact that I just let things be and change my mindset about what I wanted to happen was the reason that the whole situation got revised, you guys. So it's not about interacting with the 3D in the way that it was. You want to react with the 3D in the way that you want it to be. And that was the difference for me, you guys. And another thing about revision that I really want to tell you guys is I've been using revision lately, especially like Neville Goddard says, don't go to bed without revising your day with the way that you want it to be. And I find this to be helpful, not just for revising things that you don't like, but also revising for the things that you want. So for instance, one of my friends, we were talking, and he makes beats. He produces music, and he's been wanting more people to go on his YouTube channel and check out his beats or buy beats to make a song to or whatever. And I told him, I said, you know, at the end of the day, start thinking as if you got sales. Like, so tell yourself before you go to bed that you got sales, or tell yourself before you go to bed that you've been getting more subscribers, because that is something that I do, you guys. Before I go to bed, I always make sure that I'm like, man, my subscribers love my videos. Oh my gosh, I had so many clients today that I was booked out and blah, blah, blah. And I did all of this before I started getting clients or before my channel started growing recently. I was doing this. I was revising my day as if I already had the success that I desired. I did not go to sleep thinking that I was still in that old version where I didn't have the subscribers or the growth or the clients, you guys. That's another way, because when you do that, what you're doing is implanting those seeds and putting yourself on the timeline to where that's the way that it actually is. That is the way that it actually is. If you see yourself like that, it can only be that way, you guys. And that's the way that I really like to use revision, is to do it in that way, what I'm telling you guys with the beats. And my friend has told me that he's recently been getting more subscribers, and someone just purchased one of his beats for the first time after it's been about, I want to say we talked about 2 weeks ago. But yeah, he told me recently, and that's why I wanted to do this video of revision, because he told me that, and I was like, man, I need to make a video about revision. So you guys, that's another way that you can do it, is don't go to bed without making your day the way that you want it to go. If you didn't have a good day, you did have a good day. If you didn't make any money, you made a shit ton of money. If your SP didn't say anything to you, they called you and y'all had a whole ass conversation. That's the way that you need to end your day, because when you do get it, you guys, I tell you guys this all the time, when you get your manifestation, you are getting it from memory, you guys. You're getting it because you've already done it before, whether you've done it on this plane or another plane. You've done it before because you can see it already. So when you get the manifestation, it's because you got it from memory. You were like, oh, I remembered that this already happened, okay? So yeah, you guys, so this is my video on revision. Get down in the comments below and let me know, have you revised anything? If you need any assistance with revising anything or any opinions or anything, get down in the description box and book a session with me, or get down in the chat and let's chit chat, all right? So you guys, thank you so much for being here. I love you guys so much, and thank you to everyone that has been subscribing recently and interacting. I love you guys. You guys are just amazing, you guys. You're so freaking everything. I just love you guys, all right? And once again, you guys, remember, imagination, like I tell you at the end of every video, imagination is really on your side. This is no bullshit, you guys. Imagination is on your side, and of course, your girl is too. Bye.